Harlem Berry here to Matt to walk us through the running back out of Louisiana. What's going on there?
So Harlem Berry is on threes running back one in the class. He is 5'10", 177 pounds, out of St. Martin's Episcopola. I can never say that. Out of Louisiana, and he's committed to LSU. He's a pretty straightforward evaluation, in my opinion, in that he's extremely athletic. We have very good verified testing. I believe a 4.37 40, 10.5 700 meter, 21.43 200 meter, 37-inch vert, 500-pound squat, everything you're looking for athletically. But he plays against abysmal competition. Minus 17 strength of schedule according to Max Preps, which, I mean, for a top 10 RB is probably historically bad. I can't think of anybody off the top of my head that played anywhere even nearly close to that level of low-end competition, which is definitely very concerning. To be fair, he did produce extremely well against that competition with over 2,000 rushing yards, 37 touchdowns, 13 yards per catch, 400 receiving yards. So, I mean, he did what you want to see. But then, when I watched the tape, I'm just not that impressed. I mean, he's very fast. He's a fluid mover. Not really that shifty in the open field. I mean, he has some nice cuts, but I mean, the guys he's going against just, I mean, it's just not even fair, really. He's decently physical against these guys, but again, I definitely question the tackling ability that you'll see on the tape. It's just a lot. I mean, at the moment, I really just see him as a really fast, tiny running back, and he'll have to put on 25 pounds to ever be an RB1 at the next level, or in the NFL, I mean, of course. I definitely doubt he can be an RB1 right out of the gate either in college. It'll probably take at least 2 years in that aspect. So it's really just not a profile that I'm that willing to bet on, especially as RB1 in the class. I mean, he'll for sure be in my top 10 or whatever, but I mean, what's the upside here? We'll hope he puts on 25 pounds. He's Jamaal Charles. That's still, that's a big jump and very unlikely to happen.
I would agree that's the upside, but like you said, that's a huge leap of faith that we're taking there. David, I'll go last. What do you think about Harlem Berry headed to LSU?
Yeah, I think I'm maybe a little more open-minded about this type of running back. And yeah, I agree. He's not particularly big. He does have, like you mentioned, he does squat 500 pounds. He does have a pretty strong lower half. And he was verified 177 prior to his junior season. I imagine he's added some. I think he's probably in the 180, 185 area. Listen, I don't think he's ever going to be a guy that plays much over 200 pounds. So I think you're looking at, like you said, Jamaal Charles. So I just kind of I think his profile seems to be a little more successful lately with like Jahmyr Gibbs, Etienne, Mostert, James Cook, McCaffrey. I don't think he's as good as or as physical as McCaffrey or whatever, but like I'm okay with that mold, and I like this change of direction a lot. I think his stop start is really, that stood out to me quite a bit, and like his vision, like he can flip the field. So he's going to make guys miss, but one of my negatives is his contact balance didn't look amazing or anything. That's pretty expected for a smaller guy. So I think that's one of his negatives. So you're going to get a lot of, so it's like the size, the contact balance, the competition was obviously atrocious. So it's like kind of hard sometimes. We probably just won't know how good he is until he hits college. So, but then, he didn't have any like amazing catches, but I thought he was like an adequate. He had good production, 20 catches for 400 yards and 7 touchdowns like last year. So he can catch the ball as well. So I don't know. Yeah, maybe running back one is like a little rich, but I think he's going to just based off of his electricity and all that, I think he is going to probably be top 5 for me. And you just have to hope that he's used correctly. and, get him on outside runs and stuff. Just, it's pretty obvious how to use him. I mean, I assume he'll be used that way. So I don't know. I think I like him. I'm a little more optimistic on him and a little forgiving for this type of mold.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm kind of in more of the same boat as David. I was pretty impressed with his physical, agility, start, stop, like you said, speed, just overall quickness, quick twitch, like really, really slippery. Granted, at the time, I didn't quite realize that the competition was like JV, level, but even in a vacuum, like against air, he still looked incredibly lightning fast. The production's about as good as you can hope for. I know as a junior, he had 15 yards per carry. So that's like, 99th percentile. And then I thought he was a pretty good receiver. I mean, downfield stuff, not just swing passes. Like, I think he could be utilized as a true weapon in the receiving game, which negates a little bit of the problems with his size. He may not be the most complete running back, but like David said, listed off a handful of running backs who are making their living, 10 carries, 5 catches in the NFL. That will get the job done these days in fantasy. And, on the off chance you get more than that, even better if he hits 200 pounds eventually, which again, that takes some projection. Even that will take some projection at this point. But I'm pretty excited from a physical attribute standpoint, in terms of athleticism. But yeah, I mean, running back 1 seems strong and at this point. So just because of the size, I think that automatically limits him a little bit. If you like what we're doing here, like and subscribe to this video and keep watching as we go through, the top 50 recruits in this fashion for the rest of the season